Well, let's talk now about President Trump's visit to Saudi Arabia and other countries that he's got coming up. And joining us by a webcam from Washington is Peter Galbraith, the former US ambassador to Croatia and the United Nations Deputy Special Representative for Afghanistan, now Senior Diplomatic Fellow at the Centre for Arms Control and Non-Proliferation. Thanks very much for being with us, Peter Galbraith. What do you think is the significance of this trip to Saudi Arabia in particular as President Trump's first foreign trip as president?
I think, as your report suggests, it is a shift in emphasis of U.S. policy towards Saudi Arabia, more against any kind of rapprochement with Iran. I think it's significant that he's making his first trip to the most conservative country in the Arab world, there's also a significant business component to it. His son-in-law, Jared Kushner, has been trying to negotiate a $110 billion arms deal. And this goes with the sort of Trump approach that the administration is going to be personally involved in business deals as a way of boosting the American economy.
But it comes against a backdrop of him last year accusing Saudi of being behind 9/11.
Yes, I mean, in terms of trying to a strategy of combating terrorism, obviously a lot of extremists have been funded by Saudis. Most of the 9/11 hijackers were Saudi, and by contrast, Iran, which is the designated enemy, of course, is a Shiite country. Which is the bitter enemy of the kind of Salafi terrorism that the U.S. is combating in Al-Qaeda and with the Islamic State. But I'm not sure that these nuances are appreciated by the new president.
And of course, he's been rather beleaguered at home. Do you think in some ways it'll be a relief for him to carry out some overseas diplomacy?
Well, this is actually the normal release for an American president. They tend to find that it's very hard to get their domestic agenda accomplished, although they usually don't run into the kind of difficulty that Trump has run into so early in his administration. And they find that foreign travel and foreign policy is a place where it's easier to accomplish things, and anyhow, people tend to be much nicer to them. Trump has taken a long time to make his first foreign trip as compared to President Obama or George W. Bush or Bill Clinton or certainly George H.W. Bush. And I think he's a bit of a homeboy who likes to sleep in his own bed. So I'm not sure that he will join this in a way and find the same kind of escape from the Washington reality that his predecessors have found.
Yeah, a bit of a homeboy, as you say. There were reports that he wanted to cut down the number of days of his overseas visits to shorten them.
Yes, I mean, what's instructive about this isn't a small point. During the campaign, he actually almost never stayed overnight in the places he was campaigning. He'd take his plane out to Iowa or Minnesota, Texas, give whatever speeches he was going to give, fly home to New York so he could sleep in his own bed.
Very interesting to talk to you. Thank you so much. Peter Galbraith, thanks for your time.